Stick around and get your small business unstuck. More of Business Insanity Talk Radio with Barry Maltz. Now on AM 560, The Answer.
So do you want to sell your company for the highest price? Now may be actually the best time to actually do it. Here to guide us through it is Bob House. He's the president of BizBuySell.com and BizQuest.com, the internet's largest and most heavily trafficked business for sale marketplaces. Bob, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
So tell us about the environment right now, the marketplace for selling small businesses.
Yeah, it's a really active marketplace right now. In fact, the most active that we've seen since we started tracking this data. We ask brokers that use our platform to report on sold businesses, and we've never seen a higher level than we have now. We've been tracking this data going back to 2007.
And so what do you think is leading to the activity?
Well, there's a number of factors. First and foremost is there's just a lot of baby boomers who've built these businesses and are reaching retirement age. So there's a demographic trend that is, producing a good amount of supply. These businesses are performing well. They've been growing their revenues and cash flows over the last 5 years, and there's a lot of confidence in the market by buyers and access to capital, which enables them to get these deals done.
Now, on your site, you focus on a lot of small businesses. I saw here that the median sale price for the business was $245,000. What's the clientele that you service?
Yeah, we service, really a range of buyers and sellers. These are the medians, so there's a lot of inventory in retail and restaurants and service businesses, and some of those tend to skew towards the lower end of the market sometimes. But we also have manufacturing businesses and all kinds of businesses that really range from tens of thousands to tens of millions and kind of like what they sell for. But for the most part, BizBuySell serves kind of traditional Main Street small businesses when we think of small businesses in America.
So, Bob, in your experience, does every business have a buyer, or only certain businesses actually can get sold?
Yeah, not every listing is going to sell. There are certainly good businesses with good cash flow. Ultimately, you're buying the cash flow of a business, and if a business has predictable, strong cash flow that a new buyer sees potential in growing, it's probably going to find a buyer. There are certainly struggling businesses or businesses that aren't as strong on the cash flow standpoint, and those may not always sell.
So are you really seeing that people, what they're buying is really some kind of multiple of the expected cash flow?
That's right. These businesses trade typically as a multiple of cash flow or seller discretionary earnings, as is used in the industry.
Right.
And it ranges from 2 to 3 typically. 2.3 or so is about what we have seen historically as a median across all the businesses reported sold on our platform. But, larger businesses are going to have higher multiples, and it's not uncommon to see multiples of 5 or higher for bigger businesses or in certain industries.
So if I want to try to sell my company, prepare it for sale at the highest price, what kinds of things should I be doing right now?
Well, there's a lot of things you should be doing as you prepare a business for exit. Certainly you need to plan ahead. It's usually good to have a multi-year horizon when you're thinking about your exit, but you can get it done in as short as a year. Get your financials in order and make sure your business is ready to show. But you want to make sure that it's going to be transferable, that you're not so wrapped up in the business that you are the identity of the business. You have a trained management team in place, that you have recurring revenue streams. You're not too concentrated on a few kind of high value customers, and things like that will make the business transferable to a new owner.
I think you bring up an excellent point, Bob, because the idea of transferability, I believe that a lot of small business owners don't really understand that, because if the business is only about them and when they leave, that business ain't going to be there anymore, there's not that much value, right?
That's right. That's right. It loses some value. There's not no value, but it'd certainly be stronger if you could step out. In fact, the best businesses are businesses where you already have stepped out and are maybe not as involved at the level that you used to be. You have a good management team in place to run the business.
So what are the biggest mistakes, Bob, that you really see when people are going to sell their business?
That's a good question. I think, there's understanding what the value is, pricing it appropriately, not overestimating what it's worth, certainly not lowballing it. I think, being prepared for the long slog. It's difficult to sell your business, so it's probably best to employ a broker or somebody who can focus on that while you continue to run your business. The last thing you want to have happen is have your business suffer while you're trying to sell it. It's a very involved process. And so I think, some owners take their eye off that ball and, end up getting distracted from keeping their financials strong.
It's interesting because as I help a lot of small businesses sell their business, I find the largest problem they face is that they're not really prepared for the due diligence that goes into selling your business. They don't realize that, someone's going to come in. It's like it's going to be a colonoscopy, and they're going to tell you your baby's ugly, and they don't like that.
Absolutely. And, a lot of the owners' identities are wrapped up in their business, and they usually overvalue them. And so that's always a challenge, is because a buyer's going to come in and shoot holes in everything, and you're going to have to be able to defend them. So being prepared for that is very key.
So what's the best way, Bob, to prepare for that?
Well, I think it's good to get independent third-party counsel, whether it's your a CPA, lawyer, a broker, to help you be objective in this. I think it's sometimes very hard for owners to be as objective as they should be. So probably that's my best advice to owners looking to sell.
And make sure, I always tell people, make sure that you really have a handle on what your financials are. So many folks don't really have solid financials, and somewhere in the due diligence process, that comes back to haunt you, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Because, again, that's going to be really scrutinized by any buyer. So you need to have that stuff all really tight, good records, and a good understanding of how your business is operating financially.
So, Bob, what advice would you have? Because a lot of businesses, especially on the smaller end, have a sale component that includes some kind of earn-out, right? You're going to get paid over time, or you get paid based on performance. What advice do you have when small business owners are considering those types of things?
Yeah, I don't know if I have any real direct experience on that. Again, we're the marketing platform that allows owners and brokers to market their listings, and we're not really involved in the transactions. I can't say that I have great visibility into that. I know that is common, as well as, of course, seller notes and seller financing. Right. So I don't know. Again, I would consult with the professionals who really know that area of the business.
So if I'm considering listing my business on BizBuySell.com or BizQuest, how can I make it more attractive so people take a look at it, right? Because if they don't look at it, they're never going to buy it. So you at least want them to notice you.
Absolutely. Well, have complete listings, write good titles, have an image that draws the eye. But remember also that you're not telling the life story of the business in the listing. You need to have a reason for it to be attractive enough for a potential buyer to reach out. Kind of look at it as a little bit of like a dating site. You want to provide some intrigue, and it looks like an interesting opportunity, but you don't need to disclose everything. And of course, most owners are going to not want to disclose too much anyway until they get a buyer under a signed NDA.
Well, we're coming up on the second half of 2018 and 2019. What's your forecast of selling businesses over the next couple of years?
Well, we certainly haven't seen any signs of it slowing down. It's certainly still on the upswing. We certainly expect that throughout 2018. You never know what's going to happen with the global or local U.S. economy, so I never want to be too bold in my predictions. But again, the healthy supply of boomers retiring, the tax reform that's just happened, and the access to capital is all providing tailwinds that are helping the market. And I don't see those stopping in time in the near future.
That's good to hear. Now, if people want to get in touch with you, where should they go?
Yeah, BizBuySell.com. BizBuySell.com.
Bob, thanks so much for being on the show.
Hey, great to be here. Thank you for having me.